process home.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
episode 1050. That's right, just 50 away from 1100. Or 1100 if you prefer. It's Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth. Today, we'll hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, the Brewmaster.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And an exciting segment that'll take you into the canine world called the Word of Dog.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Oh, that's right. I think I have to tell you I'm having a tough time getting into this thing called daylight saving time. It's causing all kinds of problems with my mind. I had like a headache for most of the day yesterday.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And it didn't help my roommate. Well, he's great, but he came home
Daily
when I was supposed to
Podcast.
be napping.
Yeah!
And banged around. I called my first roommate Clunk because he made a lot of noise. Second roommate was super quiet. Third roommate, my latest roommate, who took the podcast picture yesterday. The great podcast picture of Basil the Boxer and the blooms on the tree in my backyard. But my third roommate does kind of make a lot of noise when he moves around, which is fine. He's actually really quiet other than that. He doesn't blast his music or anything like that. He's like the ideal roommate. We talk, we have a good time. He's not weird. I enjoy his company. I don't know how much longer he's going to be with me, though. Gosh, he's been with me longer than any of my other roommates, but he's a young guy. I can see where he's going to have to move at some point. Maybe move over to the other side of the bay to be closer to Stanford. I know he's got Stanford ideas and such. He's in the medical world, so we'll see. But anyway, I need to get some super strong earplugs, and that will help me get through. Because I need to nap, y'all. I can barely keep my eyes open at this point. I'm drinking the hot pot of coffee at Cafe Anyway. I don't even have a cup. I'm just drinking it right out of the pot. Look who just walked in. Hi, Mike. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How you doing?
Hey, to Disgruntled Fiddle Player, tell you what.
What?
Well, y'all keep bashing Trump.
I didn't say a dang thing about Trump today.
No, well, you had me in that drawing saying monosyllables and Trump dum.
Yeah, I did that. But come on, I mean, Trump supporters are violent and they're knocking over, they're stealing television sets, knocking over newspaper stands. They're doing other things.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Some movie, TV show where violence erupted and they break in and take the TV tube set and they knock over newspaper stands. I don't know. Look who else just walked in.
Hi, Mike. I'm the Brewmaster. I make the root beer. Oh, boy.
Brewmaster, nobody cares about root beer anymore.
Don't say that. I'll cut you.
All right, we're done. That's usually the dialogue we have. How are you guys all getting used to daylight savings? Benita, how are you getting used to it?
I like the extra hour sleep.
It's not an extra. They take a... Benita, they take an hour away. The extra... Yeah, they stole it right out of our pantry.
Oh, no. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't care.
You had me going there.
I know, I'm funny. I got to go. Bye. This was a great conversation.
But honestly, she doesn't know about the time change because I keep her life occupied with my sweet loving.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, that's what we need more of in this world is love. What the world needs now is that, and sweet that. I had this headache yesterday, and I said I need to take a nap. I couldn't because my roommate was home, so I said, let's go. And I took my dog And we drove to beautiful Alameda. In fact, that will be the podcast picture today. Some picture that I took of Alameda. I'm not even going to try and look for it on my stupid iPhone because it's an old one and I can't find anything in it. It opens Windows so slowly. You know how usually when you on your smartphone, when you hit one of the apps, it goes boop and it's instantly there, right? Mine, it opens up really slow, like you're going through a slow tunnel really slowly, just, and it grows. And am I making any sense right now? But anyway, I had a lovely time in Alameda with Basil, and then I'm like, dang it, when is the sun gonna go down? It's still up. When is it going down? This is crazy. It's still up. Craziness up. And let's see. Oh, in my exciting world, what I do is I am Haley is not here for this week in the usual time slot. That's why Haley's not on with me. But what Haley usually does is he produces a show. He's the board op for a radio show. And the guy is in a different location from where we are. So we have to, over a dedicated line, tell this person, as he's doing his show, look, you've got 2 minutes left, you got 1 minute left, you got 30 seconds, wrap it up. Because we have it very well timed. There's all kinds of other reports we get from CNBC and Fox Business News. It's a business channel. It's a business radio station, business format. And apparently, I found out that he doesn't like it, this talk show host, when I give him 2 minutes. He'd rather just give me just have the 1 minute. But when he told me in such a way that he said, "Don't go with the 2," he said one time. And I'm like, what? What, the 2? What's the 2? I don't get the 2. What's a 2? 2 could be anything. Don't go with the 2. That's a menu item at your favorite Chinese restaurant where they make on the number 2 would be the Kung Pao chicken. So good. Don't go with the number 2. That would be like the number 2 haircut that you get at Supercuts, where they shave it all off. I think I have a number 2, right? Isn't that a number 2? Gosh, my head's shiny today. I just caught the reflection in the root beer mug you have there, Brewmaster.
Thank you. My root beer mugs can also be used as mirrors. Oh boy! Somebody please drink root beer. I'm going out of business.
Poor Brewmaster. Hey, so all that can be found at the website, mikesdailypodcast.com. No, actually, none of that can be found but the podcast picture can. And if you want to help out and support the show, you can do that through the Amazon link at mikesdailypodcast.com. Click on that. Buy something. It helps us out. We smile. You smile. The world smiles. The world has a big smile. You know where the cheek parts are that create the upper limits of the smile? Those would be Mexico. Because Mexico's always a big, happy place with, do they take the pig cheeks, right, and turn them into tacos? I need a taco right now. I've got Mexican food on my brain. Do you know what happened? I got a text. Yes, I got a text because I'm part of something like some food rewards network, like 5-Star or Belly or something like that. Is Belly even around still? And they told me, because I went to this Mexican restaurant that makes they prefer to be called taquerias. The place is called Loco Burrito something or rather. That's the one with the guy, when you walk in, he's kind of like Saddam Hussein. Mike, that's racist. No. What it is he kind of has the Saddam Hussein thing from South Park, where he's like, "Hey, guy, what's going on, guy? Hey, guy." That kind of thing when you walk in. Okay, I probably am the only one that noticed that. Paul F. Tompkins. I was turned on to his podcast by Haley, and I love it. The particular show I was listening to, I think the latest one, he broadcasts live from Largo, Cafe Largo, which I always wanted to go to when I lived in Southern California. My ex-wife and I almost went. There were so many great artists that performed there. I know Fiona Apple, John Brion that works with her performed there. Michael Penn, one of my favorites. Michael Penn's wife, I think they're still married. Amy Mann of Till Tuesday performed there. Patton Oswalt, what's his name? Fred Armistead used to perform there all the time. So Paul F. Tompkins is like a patron saint there. And he comes to Largo, always packs it, and the audience is screaming and loves him, and he's just completely improving away, and he does his spontaneity thing podcast. And one of the people he has as one of his this is my term, Paul, so don't steal it, podcast players, he apparently, I forget the guy's name, Craig or Tom, I don't know, Skip, said that he was in Shakespeare plays, and one of the Shakespeare plays he mentions is All's Well That Ends Well, and that's the only Shakespeare play I have ever done. So I was like, wow, I wonder if he played the same part that I did. He played the same part that I did. Not Paul F. Tompkins, but one of his podcast players. I coined that term, don't steal it, Paul. They should be called Paul players. Paul F. Tompkins players. You can take that, Paul. But the guy played the King of France. I played that as well. And he mentioned something that I had forgotten, since I have not done that role in ages, is that I had to look sick at the beginning of the play, and by the end of the play, I had to look like in the best of health. So what they did with me is they put a bunch of gray in my beard. I had a beard at the time. They put gray in it, which now, of course, it doesn't need to be the gray just is there. But it happens. You get old. The hair says I'm turning gray. Screw this. And they also put gray in my hair. I had hair back then. Oh, and they put a bunch of that white stuff on my face and put wrinkles in my face. Ooh, there was a really hot blonde that did all the makeup on me. And I didn't find out till the very end, when we had the rap party, as it were, the big, we're done with the play, let's party, that she was totally into me. And I only found that out because someone took a picture of us dancing together, and she's totally looking at me in an adoring gaze, like Nancy Reagan had with Ronnie, an adoring gaze. But that whatever. Water under the bridge. That was 70,000 years ago. That whole thing. So they had to put wrinkles on my face, which now, of course, they're there anyway, and I could play that king really well now. Except for the part towards the end of the play when I'm supposed to be all youthful and everything. They took all the wrinkles away. By the end of the play, I was looking all healthy. With this guy that works with Paul F. Tompkins, they did the same thing, only they had him shave all his hair off. Yeah, he played also this role in college. Only with this guy, he had to shave his head, which of course now my head is shaved anyway. That would have worked out perfect for me, but now, the guy, when by the end of the play, when the king is better, they put on a curly wig on his head, like as if suddenly hair sprouted. And then they also made him taller by the end of the play for some reason. They didn't do that with me. But with him, they had him like just in normal shoes at the beginning of the play when he's sick. And by the end of the play, he's in like high platform shoes. And then he told some funny joke about how he wore a robe, and they told him not to wear underwear because if people saw his modern underwear, it would kill the illusion. And somehow things got under wraps. Out of wraps, unwrapped, and that was listen to his podcast if you want to hear the whole story. But I thought that was so amazing. Hey, that's an exact same thing that I did. And then Paul Tompkins brought up Project UFO, which was a TV show I used to watch all the time. There were a couple TV shows that were put on TV after Star Wars got so big to try and capitalize on the whole sci-fi excitement. Battlestar Galactica, the first one being not the Edward James Olmos one, but the first one, not the Sci-Fi Channel one. The original one, which was on ABC and had Lorne Greene playing Adama on it. And there was Starbuck on there, which, of course, Starbuck later started the coffee company. No, that didn't happen. But that actor that played Starbuck later played Face on A-Team. Then there was this other show called Project UFO, which thought, hey, let's play with UFOs and that whole sci-fi stuff. And that show was on for a while. It didn't last. But I remember watching every episode going, oh, cool, I get to see spaceships. I was fascinated by how not so much... I didn't really care for sci-fi stories. I always thought they were stupid, but I loved how you could take a camera and then take a model of a spaceship and go, look, this is a real thing flying through space. I don't know why that got to me. Nowadays, it's all rendered through computer graphics, and that doesn't interest me anymore. And now I live a really bitter, depressing life, and I go to dog parks. Oh, which is what we were going to get to, the word of dog. So finally, check out the website, mikesdailypodcast.com, and the links to all the places you can check us out on social media and places. Oh, we have the past interviews that I've done, interesting interviews with all kinds of musicians of all formats of music, all there at mikesdailypodcast.com. And if you want to help us out through the PayPal and become an inglorious Mike's Daily Podcaster and get a special greeting from the Brewmaster, who's been sitting here so lonely, just staring at his reflection in his root beer mug, you can do that at mikesdailypodcast.com. Are you feeling okay, Brewmaster?
I'm lonely.
All right. Come with me then as we do this segment.
The word of dog.
Yes, the word of dog. All right, so as I went to the dog park yesterday, I said to myself, I need to tell people about this special advice. A word from dog. It's telling you that when you're at the dog park, what to deal... People take their dogs to the dog park. And often people bring aggressive dogs. And there's a little bit of pandemonium and dogs trying to get on top of other dogs. There is always going to be that at dog parks. You just have to be ready to go, all right, what's my exit strategy? How do I get my dog out of this dog park as soon as possible? If you have a harness on your dog, you're able to grab the dog from the back and take him out. If you have... It is always smart to check out before you walk into the dog park to see if you don't have any crazies in there, any dogs that look like they're going to be aggressive. It might just be a good idea to just take your dog for a walk around the area outside of the dog park. Don't go into the dog park. But I, for one, found that I had at some point had to get over my fear and just go in there with my dog and see what he did, and just be ready in case something went wrong to take him out. And something did go wrong. One of the first times I took him to the dog park, he all of a sudden got into a fight with a huge Great Dane. It was a greater than Great Dane. It was just enormous. And that freaked me out, so I didn't go back to the dog park for a while. But then I said, all right, I'm just going to go and keep an eye on him. He seemed to be smarter from the experience. Maybe don't take on a dog as way bigger than you, and I don't know what went on. That dog actually stopped coming to the dog park, too. So maybe that guy got the right idea. But the sun is up later. You should be walking your dog anyway. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy your camaraderie with your canine. If you don't have a dog, then I guess this segment's been for naught. But I did want to say that the dog park or an open area and dogs meeting for the first time is actually the best of circumstances, because dogs need to sniff each other. And when they've got the leash and they're feeling the owner pulling the dog back, feeling them being pulled back by the leash, and they're seeing this other dog approach, it's all about defense. It's all about, hey, stay away. It's almost as if the dog is protecting their backyard, and they're protecting you, and you're holding them back with the leash, and then all kinds of barking and escalation happens with the dogs. So dog park should be the best place. And I went to 2 yesterday in Alameda because I took my dog Basil the Boxer to walk around Alameda, and then there's a section of Alameda with a bunch of boats and houseboats, and they shot a couple of the houseboat scenes from the TV show Parenthood there. and it was just a beautiful day, and the sun's up later. And there's 2 really nice dog parks in Alameda, so I took Basil to both of them. The first one, there were hardly any. There was one dog, and their owners were really paranoid about their dog. And just sort of like, they were throwing the ball to him, but then Basil came over, and they were just sort of like, ugh. And then they were weird. It has a lot to do. You may or may not, and if you don't have a dog, this is probably the most fascinating thing I'm going to say on today's show, is that it's not the dog that's weird, it's the owner. Dogs follow certain consistencies in life. They're going to be protective. They're going to want to eat. They're going to want to play. They're going to want to herd if they're a sheep herding type dog. Herding dog. Herding with a D. But the owners are the ones that make the dogs go crazy. They're the owners are the ones that are like yelling at them all the time. And the dogs look to their owners for a certain bit of stability. And if the owners are all over the place, then the dog's going to be all over the place. If the owner's like shouting at them every 5 seconds, Toby, Zoe, Toby, Roxy, what other used into the ground